Right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 1 of the Only for the Strong podcast. My name is Campbell Younger, and today's guest is the founder of New Zealand's leading social media marketing company, Oxygen Media, as well as owner and CEO of New Zealand's most established fitness apparel brand, Oxyfit. Ollie Brazier, what's up, brother?
Hey, bro. How's it going? Good to be here, man. First episode, number one.
Yeah, it's exciting.
That's awesome,
And
bro. Honored,
obviously in interesting times.
for
So me
sure.
and you obviously have a personal relationship, but what I'd sort of like you to crack into first of all is just your upbringing, maybe going through schooling and how you kind of came to be, I guess, the founder of Oxygen Media.
Yeah, for sure, bro. So I was born in the UK, so lived there for about 10 years, and then the whole family kind of emigrated to New Zealand. We arrived in Auckland Airport with literally just 4 suitcases,
Mm.
nothing else. We were heading towards Napier, drove through Taupo one night, and basically just ended up staying there on and off for the next sort of 16 years.
Mm.
Did some time in Australia, did a year in the States, moved back to Sydney, and then moved back to New Zealand. So I've kind of been all over the place, where I've just got experiences and loads of different things, just personal and professional. And yeah, it's kind of got me to where I am today. So I started my first social media marketing business when I was been 18, called Social Plus, which was pretty much just me helping businesses and literally just doing their Facebook ads, pretty much doing their Facebook ads, doing Instagram management. Twitter was kind of a bit bigger in New Zealand, Australia back then. So I was doing a mix of everything, really. Realized I didn't really have the experience to kind of grow a business properly. So I took an unpaid internship in the US, went over there for a year, just basically shadowed the CEO, learned as much as I could. Came back eventually to Sydney and then to New Zealand and started Oxygen pretty much from scratch. And yeah, built it up over kind of last 4 years. And yeah, it's pretty established now, man. You know, we've got clients across Australia, we've got clients across New Zealand, just pretty much an array of verticals that we've never kind of really focused on one individual kind of industry, and just been able to keep it pretty broad, bro. And it's a pretty profitable business. Yeah, it's doing well.
Mm. So what at that time coming out of, I guess, did you go to university? Did you drop out of high school early? And what did that time in the States look like?
Yeah, so I finished high school and basically knew one thing. I didn't want to go to university. It just wasn't me. It's for a lot of people, but for me, it was just like, I knew I wanted to do something in business. I wanted to own my own business, and I knew going to university wasn't going to give me that. You know, I'd be kind of learning business out of a textbook. And I thought, if I actually go and work in a business with someone who has run a successful business, I'm probably going to learn twice as much off them than I would go to uni, plus not have 30, 40 grand debt at the end of it. So that was just my thought process. Everyone's kind of different, but luckily I had some family friends in the States. They'd built up a media business, basically magazines and online websites. So I basically said, love to kind of work for you. So he offered me a position over there for a year. I was basically just doing admin, but it was great. I was just learning to see how he managed teams and how he kind of did his own marketing and how he set up that business. And they had offices in sort of 6 different countries. So it was just awesome to be in and around that environment. And I swear I learned more in that year than I kind of probably would have learned in 3 years at uni. And just gave me everything I needed, really.
So you think that time in the States was sort of detrimental, where you learnt your bread and butter to follow on to
100%.
the social media marketing company you have today? Sort of
Yeah,
thing?
100%, bro. Yeah, like you got to use your connections. Like you probably do it in the fitness industry as well. Like you've got to look at the people closest to you, whether it's family, friends, whether it's someone who's just opened up a door for you. Like get in touch with them and just see what they can kind of offer you, or how they can help. You know, people always want to help other people. So yeah, that was literally it, man. And I just we just got in touch, and he just said, come out to the States for a year. I didn't really know what to expect, really. And yeah, like just learn heaps. Just took it as a year to basically just absorb. That was it.
Yeah, because coming out of obviously high school, what did that conversation with your parents or your family look like at that stage? Because obviously the biggest barrier we see with like young entrepreneurs, people starting businesses, there's often a hesitation factor there where, oh, my parent does X, so I'm going to do X, not Y. So do you come from a family of small business owners, or like more tertiary educated sort of parents, or
Yeah,
how did that go?
100%. Yeah, I swear you kind of follow the roots of your parents. Eh? So my dad's literally, I don't think he's pretty much ever worked for someone. He's always run his own business pretty much since he was my age. He had shops in the UK selling like China bowls and China mugs, which you can barely buy anymore anyway. So that was kind of his first business. So I've always looked up to him and kind of just saw what he did. And when I left high school, I basically knew kind of pretty much two things. One, I didn't want to go to university, and two, I just wanted to basically start a business. I didn't know what it was. I just knew I wanted to work for myself and never have to go do a 9 to 5 for someone. After a couple of years, literally realized that wasn't going to happen. Didn't have the experience, so I took a job in Sydney, working for the same company as I was working for in the States, and literally did that for a year. I was basically like, this isn't for me. And when I left that company, I was like, this is going to be the first and last time I pretty much ever do a 9 to 5 for someone else, and to this day it has been. So it just kind of followed in my dad's footsteps, I guess, bro, in business in general. But yeah, it's that's just kind of the path I took, really.
And obviously now you'll set yourself up as Oxygen Media. Am I right in, I guess, assuming you were one of the first to market in that sort of realm in New Zealand?
Yeah, more so in Australia when I started my first business, Social Plus. That was when I looked around at the time. There was like, I think Instagram was genuinely like 3 or 4 years old. Like it was pretty fresh back then. So I kind of looked around and typed in stuff on Google, like social media management, social media marketing. I just barely found like any company. So that was kind of my in. But by the time I'd set up Oxygen, I'd been contracting for about a year, and it was kind of starting to become like the cool thing to get into, really, to own your own sort of agency, and anyone felt like they could just do it. Like there's nothing stopping you from setting up an agency tomorrow and just saying, hey, you do social media marketing kind of thing. So yeah, that definitely wasn't the first, but like it was still pretty fresh, but it was starting to kind of gain momentum in that industry about 4 years ago.
Right. Yeah. And then going forward, I guess, what's the do you see yourself, I guess, being at the helm and running Oxygen long term as the next decade or so? What's the sort of vision there?
Yeah, I never even thought I'd be doing it this long, Leroy. I've been doing it for, what am I now? So I've been doing it for about 8 years. And yeah, I never actually thought I'd be doing it this long. Just over time, just kind of self-taught and literally just kind of got good at doing it. So I thought, okay, look, it makes me money. It gives me the lifestyle that I want. I can clock off when I want. I work the hours when I want. Like, it's giving me this lifestyle right now, but it's not something I want to do long term, which was kind of the thought process of setting up Oxyfit a couple of years ago. I was like, I'm not going to want to do social media marketing and do Oxygen forever. So I need to set something else up so that hopefully within a few years it's big enough so that I can step away from Oxygen. But for now, it's ticking along. It's making money, Rose. It's not really something that would be smart to walk away from. It does give me that lifestyle, but yeah, I don't know. Could be doing it in 5 years. Could be doing it in 10. I'm always looking at starting new stuff.
Right, for sure. So now that you mentioned it, leading into Oxyfit. So Oxyfit, for those who don't know, is really currently New Zealand's most established fitness apparel line, by far and wide to me. And it's quite cool to see because obviously I've got to see it from its infancy and then growing over. You must have launched it a couple of years ago now.
It's a couple of years ago now. Where you and I were chatting kind of like before it started. So we've been you and I were kind of the first that started chatting about it quite a while ago now.
So rather than speaking on so much as how it came about, can you more speak about, I guess, how does someone who's, I guess, super plugged into like social media marketing, all those sort of things, end up having an interest in running a fitness apparel line?
Yeah, it's a weird thing, but kind of when I was about 17, 16, I really wanted to own my own brand. I don't know what it was. It was just something back then. Obviously, it's just a cool thing to do. And I started a brand with a friend back then. It didn't last very long for a number of reasons, mainly inexperience. But yeah, it's just something I always wanted to do. And over the last kind of 6 years, I've come up with different names, and I've had samples made, and it just never really took. I never really liked the name. I didn't really like the vision of the brands I was kind of trying to set up. So it was literally, I was in Auckland a couple of years ago. It was 2019. It was sort of halfway through the year. I was actually down in Dunedin at the time and chatting to my brother and stuff. And I said, look, I really want to kind of set this thing up. I basically sat down and was like, if I could do anything I wanted to right now, literally anything, money wasn't an issue, what would I do? And it was just start a brand. So Oxyfit, obviously coming from oxygen, was kind of the name. I wanted the word fit in it. Obviously just being into fitness for the last 6-7 years, just kind of wanted it to go down that route. So fitness brand, and it was actually my brother Matt who set up. He actually came up with the name. And yeah, bro, it's literally just a case of like, if I could do anything right now, what would it be? I had savings saved up to be able to invest in setting up a business. If I kind of thought, look, if I put 20, 25, 30 grand into this, and if it doesn't pay off, like, at least I tried, kind of thing. So it was literally just a case of that. So yeah, that was kind of it really, bro. It kind of stemmed up from there.
So obviously you're a couple seasons or launches in now. So are you happy with where you're currently at? I know you've got heaps of people part of the team. I see people over social media all the time resharing like when new stuff drops. So essentially, are you happy with everything's at the moment, or?
I want it to be a lot bigger than it is, bro. It's been going for nearly 2 years. I forget we're only like a year and a half old, and like in that time, we've genuinely dropped like 5 collections. Like most people drop a collection every week. Yeah,
that's
or 2.
crazy.
I Love Ugly drop new products literally weekly, and we drop a new range every like 3-4 months. So like it's literally not even been a kind of part-time job for me. Like Oxyfit has been like something that takes maybe 20% of my time throughout the year. Like oxygen's just been focused because it's literally just what makes money and makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
But Oxyfit, I'm slowly, I've made a few kind of decisions and moves in the past kind of few months that is going to transition me to hopefully be able to take Oxyfit way more seriously. And that's just going to come from like just regular collection drops. So like we've got a collection that's literally on our way towards at the moment, which is going to come in about 3 weeks, and then I just placed our biggest order for a collection yesterday, which will come in a couple of months. So like I'm starting to get way more on top of stuff, and yeah, like the next year is going to be like make or break for Oxyfit. It's going to be a big year.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's getting there. It's slow. Competitive industry, right? Like seriously competitive industry. Like,
and I think going back, sorry to interrupt you, going back to when you said like, and I know this from first-hand experience too, the cool thing is to start a brand, like start like gym stringers and that, like everyone goes through that phase if you're into the gym at some point in time usually, right? But then like you said, it's not quite at the point where you were, but who would have predicted like a pandemic pretty much in the first and second year of your business, right? So one thing I'd love you to touch on, because I know this being behind the scenes of different things a little bit, what sort of barriers do you think, like, and you can give practical examples like the shipping from overseas, the products like going wrong, what are sort of some of like the biggest barriers or hurdles that you sort of had to come across and problem solve that a lot of people on the surface, those 16, 17, 18-year-olds that want to start a clothing brand sort of might not understand or know about?
That's a really cool question, bro, because it's been something that's literally to this day, like every single day that I've been running Oxyfit, every day's been a learning curve. Like I've learned so many lessons. I've screwed up more times than like I haven't screwed up. Like literally from day one, like we started marketing Oxyfit in like July 2019. So started posting on social, trying to build following and stuff. And suddenly, like, everyone was just getting on board. Oh, I can't wait for this to drop, And I was just basically taking photos from like random websites, and suddenly people saying like, "When are you dropping?" And like, genuinely, I hadn't even had a sample for a t-shirt at that stage, and it was growing. It was growing. We had like a few hundred followers, and like literally, I was like, I can't just drop like one t-shirt. And so suddenly, all of a sudden, I was like having to get samples for leggings and sports bras, and more colors for t-shirts, and just try and literally grow it without even, like, it just went crazy. With trying to just set it up like literally overnight. And so everything was just mad. Like, we announced that we were launching on like a Wednesday, and the stock was arriving at like Auckland Airport on like the Tuesday. I literally had to drive over to the airport, get it, drive back to the city, get to the studio with two models I'd never met, do a photo shoot with them, go around Auckland, do a photo shoot. Hey, we're still launching tomorrow night. Literally stayed up to like 6 a.m. the next morning, just adding photos and stuff to the website. Like, it was just mad. And then from then on, it's just been like one lesson after the next. So, but yeah, COVID, bro, that was a huge thing. Like, that was literally 3-4 months after we started, like, to run into COVID. And we were so small at that stage. Like, we literally couldn't afford to keep the website. I couldn't afford to keep the website live.
Yeah.
So I knew we weren't going to get any orders. So I actually shut the website off during the first lockdown we had, which was like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, from then, bro, like just trying to get samples and communicate with suppliers. Obviously, all our stuff's made in China. Like, it's a nightmare dealing with them and trying to communicate, and they don't understand what you're after, and they send you the wrong samples, and like, it's just one thing after the next. Pretty much everything that could go wrong with it like goes wrong. Yeah, timings, everything, bro. So some stuff has been so last minute with it.
Yeah. Oh, it's really cool that we've kind of touched on that, because it kind of segues really into nicely what I next want to talk about. But I think just from what you said, an overriding theme I got from that was that you really have to enjoy the process if you're going to start a business.
You do.
If you're playing simply for the win or the W or the money, it's going to be a hard grind. Like, you have to almost love 100%. The process, love the L's. And for me, one thing I've always taken away and the things I've done is I like the problem solving. So when something happens, like someone sends you 200 shakers and the lids don't fit on properly,
100%.
Rather, you can't just throw your toys out the cot anymore, because like you said, you've built a community. You've got people waiting for stuff. You've got to put your hard ass head on and problem solve to the best of your ability.
That's it, bro. People don't see it. Like, that's one of the biggest things. Like, people haven't seen half the stuff. Like, you're literally right. Like, I get these shakers and the lids literally don't even open. So I have to go and find a new supplier. Just pray to God that that I'm about to order 200 lids that are going to fit these shakers that I've got. Luckily they did, and had to have them like within like 5 minutes. Like, it's like people never saw half the stuff that like went wrong with Oxyfit at the start. And yeah, it's just been a learning curve.
Yeah. Crazy. So on that, basically what I wanted to get your take on is around entrepreneurship, and kind of in our generation and in our, I guess, our modern day, entrepreneurship's become something that's really cool and like everyone wants to do, and everyone wants to start a startup, where I guess in our parents' generation, or in particular our grandparents' generation, entrepreneurship was something you'd sort of do if you were broke or didn't have you were unemployed. Unemployment was entrepreneurship essentially. Now that's changed, like you said, all over Instagram. The cars, the watches, and the biggest one is, I guess, I see a lot of the crypto like ads come up, and it's like make 60 grand in 15 days, like solely from your computer, and it's all great and it's all fine and dandy. But what I wanted to get your sort of opinion on is what you really think it takes to make up an entrepreneur. So the ingredients that sort of make up a good business person, and what's needed to create success in that realm as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure, bro. So I'd say, I'm just literally thinking out loud, the number one thing would be drive. And that's the number one thing I think our generation don't have enough of. They think, it's just going to be spoon fed to them, or it's going to come real easy. And that's one of the reasons people don't want to start stuff. It's not money. Like, like you don't need money to start a business. My first two businesses, I literally started a bank with $0 in it. Like, you don't need money to start a business. It's literally just drive. And if you haven't got drive, like, you just basically just become lazy with it. Like, if you don't do it, no one's going to do it for you. And like, no one's going to just suddenly walk in and say, hey, here's this business that's already established, kind of thing. Like, you've got to be the one to set it up. You've got to be the one to do the marketing. You've got to source the products. If it's a goods business, you've got to chat to suppliers and talk to shipping agents and all that kind of thing. Like, there's so much you've got to do, and it just comes down to literally just drive. If you haven't got drive, like, it's never going to be successful. So it's tough because you've got to sacrifice stuff, like, you've almost got to become obsessed, and people think, oh, obsession's like, it's bad, but like, you've literally got to become obsessed with your business if you want it to be successful. Otherwise, like, it's just never going to get anywhere. So yeah, that's the number one thing. But yeah, other things where, like, I think it stems a little bit from kind of your upbringing, like, if your parents were never really into kind of starting their own business, you might be less inclined to do so. So you do look to your parents, I reckon, a lot. But like, anyone can do it, man. Like, you don't need any secret special formula. Like, it's just hunger, drive, a good idea, and just push forward with it. That's literally all it is.
So you, along the lines of, rather than like your genetic makeup or, I guess, talent, you think your upbringing, the environment you're in, the people you surround yourself with, are probably what more dictate, I guess, your drive and your success in the realm of business and entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I'd say it's who you're brought up around, bro, and who you align yourself with. Like, I was lucky to be brought up around those family friends that like had set up a really successful business, and to be, it's kind of fortunate to be around them. And it's a little bit of luck. It's not what it's who when you're kind of starting out. But like, bro, there's so many successful like entrepreneurs that have started from literally nothing. I can name 100 off the top of my head that literally never had anything like spoon fed to them, and they've just started from scratch. So yeah, like, it's a mixture of a lot of stuff, but I reckon a big part of it is, what you're brought up around. It's going to dictate what you want to do and who you want to become, basically, when you get older, pretty much.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think a lot of us grow up and we always like look at our friend who had like well-off parents, and they had a massive house and a massive toy room, and like, we didn't have that or whatever. So you think you're at a disadvantage, right? But then as I've got older, I feel like people who were, I guess, like spoiled or had plenty or always given whatever they want, they're almost the ones at a disadvantage when we grow up and we have to go out into the world. Do you know what I mean?
Bro. Like, yeah, if it's given to you, you're like, you kind of have that upper hand on everyone else. Whereas, if you're brought up with nothing, or you're brought up around, not being spoon fed, like, you got to grind yourself, haven't you? Like, if you got to go out in the real world, like, it's tough, but anyone can do it.
Yeah, for sure. So just leading on, I want to basically go through a couple quick fire questions just to get a bit of info on you.
Hit me.
So first of all, the last meal you would have if you were on death row?
Oh, I don't eat enough of it, bro, but McDonald's double cheeseburger, that's been like sort of go-to meal for literally like 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
I barely eat it now, to be honest. I don't eat much fast food now, but yeah, like, that'd be 100% the go. Yeah.
I mean, your favorite music genre?
Changes. Like, when I'm out for a run, I need something kind of bassy, and anything bassy. But like, when I'm working, or just cooking food or something, like anything, it's gonna sound pathetic, but just anything real soft, like something like Sia. Sia's my go-to at the moment, bro. Just it calms me down and stuff. Like, I need running businesses, bro, like going 100 miles an hour, like, you gotta be calm sometimes. Yeah, music's a good way of doing that, for sure.
Do you listen to music when you're like working on your businesses and stuff?
Yeah, literally, bro. Yeah. Like, pretty much 24/7 when I'm working, I've got to have music on in the background. Just it's
Interesting.
pretty stressful running your own business. So like, yeah,
Yeah,
you need someone to kind of keep you calm. But yeah, music's definitely mine for that.
yeah, for sure. Next one is, in your opinion, the greatest athlete of all time.
It's topical at the moment because he's just moved, but I'd say Cristiano Ronaldo. He's been like an absolute icon to me, pure from a business point of view as well, bro. Like he set up businesses and brands. Like he's literally developed an absolute empire, and he started with nothing. You know, he didn't come from. You know, he started playing football on the streets, and he's an absolute icon.
As in football, was he pretty much considered like the go to football now? Like, is there
Everyone,
much
everyone
argument?
will always, everyone will always debate it, Messi versus Ronaldo. But to
Mm.
me, probably being a United fan helps. But like Ronaldo is literally been sort of the day one go, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing compares. He's complete. He's complete.
Yeah, for sure. Your biggest inspiration in business?
There's a few, bro, to be honest. Phil Knight, the owner of Nike. I read his book recently, and that was, you know, he's just a legend. He started with absolutely nothing, selling Nike shoes out of his boot of his car. He's awesome. Ben Francis, the owner of Gymshark, what he's done, I think, is awesome. Christian Guzman, the owner of Alphalete in the US, you know, again, he started with nothing, built something up. But yeah, the modern sort of like Elon Musk, Richard Branson, like those guys just absolutely kill the game in everything they touch. So yeah,
sure.
huge inspirations.
Favorite movie? You probably don't watch many movies nowadays,
Favorite movie? Yeah, I haven't watched any movies in a while. One of my all-time favorites is The Next 3 Days. It's a Russell Crowe movie. I don't know why I love that movie so much.
Haven't seen it, but I love Russell Crowe.
Yeah, Next 3 Days were a real good movie.
Yeah, interesting. And then lastly, your most preferred social media platform?
I mean, Oxyfit's pretty much running through Instagram right now. That is like 90% of where everything comes from. Yeah, I think TikTok's an interesting one, bro. I think it's popular right now. I don't think it's got longevity, really. I think it's gonna. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Instagram's gonna be around for a while. Facebook's obviously gonna be around for a while. That's another good movie, actually, The Social Network, which with Mark Zuckerberg's movie. That's really good. Yeah, probably Instagram at the moment.
Yeah, I feel like Instagram has just got the interaction so down packed.
It's just easy. It's a simple platform. Like it's they've got everything right. They've mastered the formula.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I won't keep you too much longer, and I really appreciate your time today, bro. You're an awesome guest to have on for the first episode. But before I do let you go, I'll just give you a chance to sort of plug your socials and your businesses and let everyone know where they can follow you.
Legend, bro. Yeah, I'm pretty much at Brazier10 on pretty much every social platform, and Oxyfit's at Oxyfit on Facebook and at Oxyfit Co on Instagram. Yeah, come and follow the journey. It's growing pretty quick, isn't it?
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, again, bro, thank you very much for coming on as my first guest. And I'll definitely be sure to bring you back on a little further down the track when we're a few more episodes in.
Appreciate it, Cam. All the best with this, mate.
All right. Easy, bro. Have a good one.
Hi, bro. Chat to you soon.